Jim Mora of UCLA back with us here on a Tuesday program. How are you, Coach?
Rich, I'm great. How are you?
I am doing fine. You're 2-0. You're taking on BYU this week. Far be it from me to tell you how to do your job. You are the expert. I'm just merely in the paparazzi. But should BYU have the ball last, I would just suggest being up by more than 8. That's all I should say to
No
you,
kidding.
Coach.
They're
Right?
something, aren't they? Those last 2 weeks, they've just they pulled them out with the great plays down the field in the end zone. This quarterback, he's fearless. He slings it. He's fun to watch.
So yeah, I mean, I can't recall back-to-back wins like that for anybody in any level of the sport. Can
No,
you, Coach?
and you know, the one on Saturday wasn't really a Hail Mary.
Right.
Kind of played as a Hail Mary, but he's something. I mean, you know, those plays are great, but his first touchdown on Saturday, it was 3rd and 19. He gets flushed out of the pocket. He rolls out to his right. He's running backwards, and he flings it about 60 yards down the field. Guy catches it and runs 80. It's an 84-yard touchdown pass. And, yeah, he's really – we have our hands full. I mean, this is a great challenge for us.
Yeah,
they're really, really good.
At the Rose Bowl Saturday night, let's talk about your quarterback, Josh Rosen. What did you see in week 2 from him against UNLV, Coach?
Well, you know, they threw a lot of pressures at him. They were bringing a lot of different looks, and he handled it very, very well. He didn't put up quite the numbers that he did week 1, but he played well, and he got better, and he learned, and he's just going to continue to progress. Early in the game, it wasn't going poorly. It just wasn't going as smoothly as we'd like. And the impressive thing about Josh is the way he handles those situations. He's very even-keeled. He doesn't get frustrated. He keeps his poise. He understands what's happening in the game, and he adjusts. So I'm really excited about where he is at this point.
And what is it like being a coach taking a team of young men to Las Vegas for a night? What was that like?
We didn't stay on the strip now, Rich. Okay, we didn't like stay on the strip or go to the Mayweather weigh-in or anything like that.
It wasn't Ocean's 14. It wasn't like Ocean's 14.
No, we didn't go to Circus or Cirque du Soleil or any of those things. I thought about taking him to see Celine Dion.
Yeah, sure.
But I wasn't sure that would fire him up. No, we stayed way out of town.
Okay.
So,
yeah,
we didn't have any showgirls at the team meeting the night before, nothing like that.
That's good. I just was checking that out. I've got Jim Mora, UCLA head coach here on the Rich Eisen Show. Do you, at some point, when it's all said and done for this weekend, take a peek at the USC-Stanford film just to see what's going on with the rest of the Pac-12?
No, I'll look at that when we get ready to play Stanford. But after this one's over, I don't even know who we play next. We've got to beat BYU Saturday night, 7:35. I'm going to give you the old coach speak.
Okay.
And that's where my mind is.
Okay. It's Arizona. I'll just let you know. It's Arizona. I know you're just taking it one at a time, but I have that here.
I don't even know. You know what?
I'm here to help.
You cut out for a minute.
Jim Mora here on the program. So I'd like to ask you about what's going on with Coach Jim McElwain in Florida. There's a lot of people saying that he got in the face too much of his player on the sideline. It was caught by a fan, and the video is right there for everybody to see and hear because it was so close. What is your take on trying to discipline a player in the heat of the battle and your comportment in that, Coach?
Well, I'll tell you my philosophy is we're very demanding of our players during practice. We put them in difficult situations. We challenge them. We try to stress them out, all to prepare them to play on Saturday. And then Saturdays, for me, is all about supporting them. No matter what, I try to support them. And they know when they've made a mistake, and I try to help them through it because the most important thing is the next snap. And but I also understand, as well as anybody, the emotion and the passion of being on the sidelines. It's not like anything else in the world. It's unbelievably intense. It's unbelievably emotional. It's unbelievably passionate. The tension is incredible, and sometimes things like that happen. And it's unfortunate that it does, but it does. And it happens in sports all the time. In every game, there are confrontations like that. What's happened now is that everything is captured on video and now audio. And so it makes somebody look less than their best self. And it's unfortunate. I can just tell you my philosophy is to try not to do that during a game. I had a situation with Josh Rosen during training camp where I blew up on him during practice, and it made some headlines. And I think we've become so politically correct as a society that, and people have so much access to everything that we say, that people think that the climate has changed. It hasn't changed. As a matter of fact, I think coaches have become much more cognizant of being fair and treating these young men with respect than they ever have in the past. And then one unfortunate incident caught on tape kind of destroys that. And I feel badly for the coach, and I feel badly for the player, and I hope that we can all move past it very quickly.
Well, I mean, your dad, former Marine, comes from a coaching era where would you say this sort of stuff was commonplace when your dad was on the sideline, back in the day?
I still think it's commonplace. I still think it's common. I think it happens more than we would ever know. I think that the intensity of game day is not comparable to anything else that I've ever experienced in my life. And things get said, and you react in a certain way that is not necessarily acceptable in the real world, but on the sidelines, we all understand that it's going to happen. I'm not saying it makes it right. I'm just saying that it's happened. It's happened in all sports forever. You see it in dugouts. You see it on the benches of NBA games and college games. You see it everywhere. And what's happened now is we capture those things with images and with audio, and so everyone sees it and makes a big deal of it. And quite frankly, and not to be callous and not to be shallow and not to be insensitive, it's very commonplace, and it is not a big deal in that environment. If you could ever put on the headphones in a football game and listen to the coaches talk to each other during a game, you'd be mortified at some of the things that are said. But we all understand that in those 3 hours, it's almost like it doesn't count. You get a hall pass. Whatever's said is said with the best intentions and emotion, and we forget about it quickly. And people that haven't been in that environment, people that haven't competed at the highest level, it's really hard for them to understand, and I understand it's hard for them to understand. So I feel bad for the coach. I feel bad for the player. I feel bad for the parents. I feel bad for everybody, but it happens.
UCLA head coach Jim Mora with me here on the Rich Eisen Show. We're on the subject of what goes on inside headsets, the end of the Sunday night football game between the Giants and the Dallas Cowboys, a major, uncharacteristic, certainly for Eli Manning and Tom Coughlin, snafu in figuring out the clock management. Can you give us that reveal as well about what goes on in the final throes of a game to figure out clock management and things of that nature where matters can go a little bit sideways, Coach?
Well, that's, obviously the most important part of the game, those last 2 minutes, and how you handle your timeouts and clock management. And it's something that is practiced regularly. And, I have a book that I keep. I wrote that situation down in my book because I'm going to go back before every game and review situations that I've seen or I've been involved with over the years that have been handled correctly or incorrectly and had, a negative or positive impact on the outcome of a game I've been involved with or watched. And, we'll go out there Thursday this week, and we're going to put Josh Rosen in the exact same situation that Eli Manning was in with regards to the third down play. Now, the decision not to try to score a touchdown or telling the running back to go down, I don't understand that.
Neither do I.
If you have a 10-point lead with a minute 50 or a minute 43 or whatever it was going to be after the kickoff, you take that all day, especially with a defense like the Giants have had and playing in an NFL game. But you have to really put your players through the paces so that they understand those situations when they do come up. It's something that we work very, very hard on. And I know the Giants work very, very hard on it. Unfortunately, they let one slip on Sunday, and it happened to be on national TV against the Dallas Cowboys, and they lost. And it's awful. And it's a bad feeling.
And then lastly, on Monday night, your buddy Dan Quinn in his first game in Atlanta, your old stomping grounds. Can you tell Falcons fans and the rest of NFL fans what we saw last night on Monday that you feel will be typical of the Dan Quinn coach team moving forward?
Tough, hard-nosed, fast, violent football, guys that make plays at the right time, an interception at a key moment, a stop, forcing a bad kick, a passion for the game, a discipline, and a real mental toughness. I mean, that's DQ. He's a special dude now. Those players are going to love him, and he's going to do a great job. And that they're going to win a lot of games at Dan Quinn and his style of coaching and their style of play.
Coach, I appreciate the time. Thanks very much. And part of the reason why I asked you about your game last week with the UNLV is, Michigan takes them on. That was just my way of getting a little bit of a scouting report this week, Coach.
Well, I'm sure that Jim will have his guys ready to go. They played well last week, that's for sure.
Yeah, and then we have BYU after you. So soften them
Really?
up. Keep softening them up, Coach. Keep softening them up for us, okay?
Okay, buddy.
We'll chat next week. Thanks for calling.
All right, Rich.
You bet. That's Jim Mora.
The Rich Eisen Show, weekdays at noon Eastern. On Audience.